Yeah, there's been this flattening where we pretend that all ideologies are equally likely to create violence. There's a favor to the media, right? It's just or politicians. Political violence is bad, however it's formed. Political violence, both sides. Everyone's doing it. Okay, here's the thing: we all know which ideologies. Everyone knows which ideologies are most likely.
We are not burning down the country. We're not burning down. We're not burning down businesses. We're not throwing rocks at police. We're praying.
Correct. And let's be real about this. Literally the minute I heard that Charlie was shot, I don't know about you guys, but I had some pretty good suspicions as to what ideology was behind the murder of our friend.
It's always the ones you most expect.
Well, and so the question is why, right? The question is why. And the answer is because there's a framework of mind that has been created in which people claim that there is the problems in their own life. And this is what Charlie stood against, right? Because Charlie was constantly talking about personal responsibility and making your life better and take your life in your own hands. And you can be a success, right? That's that clip we played earlier for men. Like, be better. If you are a person who takes the failures in your own life and you externalize those onto a shadowy group of people who are responsible for all of your failures, and then you say, those people are victimizing me to the point where they are genocide, erasing me, trans-erasure, right? Trans-genocide. And then you say, well, if those people are trying to kill me, it's self-defense, right? Speech is violence. It's self-defense for me to shoot somebody like Charlie Kirk for saying that. When she says, why are you so hateful? The reason she is perceiving fact as hate is because it is a denial of her sense of identity and a sense of threat that is now justifying violence. That is the reality. There's an undergirding to some of these ideologies, particularly this ideology, that has violent extremism as an after effect. That's just a reality. And there are multiple ideologies that are like that. So I think that the BLM ideology had aspects of this for sure. I think radical Islam, as Charlie routinely talked about, particularly in the last couple of weeks before his murder, radical Islam obviously is deeply ensconced in the sort of conspiracy theory about our failure is the fault of all these other people. These people are trying to harm us. Therefore, we are justified in doing violence to them. And when I see the New York Times trotting out Hassan Piker repeatedly now, this is like the second time, repeatedly, to talk about Charlie's murder as though he is the representative of good faith debate when he is backed every terror group I can imagine.
And has
legitimately
openly called for...
Said America deserved 9/11, has openly talked about how his political opposition should be physically harmed.
You're a lawyer, right? I mean, when does it cross the line into incitement? Does it has to be when is a specific name has to be used? Because this is relevant to what happened with Pam Bondi and all the clip that's, I mean, you know, she was saying, she basically said hate speech is illegal. And Charlie, I mean, I think she ended up clarifying later, to her credit, that the clip is, I'm told, is incomplete. She ended up quoting incitement, right? Michael looks up.
It's an unfortunate phrase to use, yes.
If you're just saying that threats and incitement are illegal, of course they are. You don't need to say hate speach.
No, exactly.
So that's the problem.
Euphemism for things I don't like.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, but it ties into what happens next here, and that's why I'm asking, because a lot of people, you know, there was a push to sort of smoke out all these people that were criticizing or that were dancing on the grave, rather, and that's perfectly fair. It
and that's
comes
social
with a
consequences.
social consequence, but not a legal one. When does it become a legal consequence?
So I think that what they've been attempting to do, and Kash Patel is apparently talking about this, is labeling Antifa a terrorist group, which absolutely they should be. I mean, clearly they should be at this point. And that if there are people who are funding groups that are violent, then we should obviously be looking into them, probably under racketeering laws and conspiracy laws. If you are donating money to a ex-Mormon trans furry group that is openly planning violence, then you should be held legally accountable for that in the way that you would be, as we all know, if it were a white supremacist group and you were funding a white supremacist group. We all know that that would be investigated by the FBI.
And I don't mean to step on your point here, but I just want to underscore why what you're saying is so critical, and I want the audience to understand that, is because one of Charlie's best friends in the administration was Stephen Miller. And Stephen Miller came on our show yesterday. I think he said the same thing on Hannity. The last text message, and there's so many prophetic little nuggets, guys. I wish I could share them all. The last text message he shared with Stephen Miller was, we have to root out the people that are funding the violence.
Yes, what we're talking about here is organized crime.
Yeah, we're going to break, but this will not go away because Stephen's a dog with a bone.